What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a transfer update. Because it's still the transfer window. It's still going on, so we need to discuss the latest updates, obviously, and we need to address the news. So not really game related, or maybe because some of the transfers are related what we have seen on Sunday evening when we play Udinese away from home, and some of the news could have a very important effect on our season, in my opinion. But we will go into it. Before we do that, thanks everybody for watching. Because it's going good lately. So thanks, like, subscribe as always, and yeah, let's get straight into the latest updates. Okay, so let's start off with the main news, and that's Emil Holm from Spezia, who is back on the radar, according to Di Marzio. I'll read it out first. He said, Juve are still interested in Holm if Junior or Soule leaves the club. Leaves the club could reconsider signing him. Atalanta's not yet closed that transfer deal because they were very close for like 9 millions plus 2 or something like that, or 2 millions plus 7, something like that. But that deal hasn't been closed yet, so we're back in the picture. I will need to look at it from two perspectives, basically. One, we need something on the right. I think we all know that. We only have Timothy Weah now. We played McKennie there, who his movement without possession is good, but defensively he's not good. He's actually really poor, but that's not on him because he cannot play that position. He just can't. It is what it is. But you need somebody on the right. Now, the main target was Berardi, obviously. Different player to Holm, I get it, but we are being flexible. I understand what the idea could potentially be, position-wise. But Berardi, let's say it's off the table. Like, that's not gonna happen anymore. It's done. So Holm is back in the picture. Who is a right back? He can play right wingish back, midfield, but he's a right back. I'm not a big fan of him personally, because I've watched him at Spezia because we were linked with him, and if you watch Serie A, he's not impressive. It was kind of bad at moments, to be honest. He got benched as well. So I don't really understand it, if I'm being completely honest. He's not a player I don't personally think will make a big of a difference. It's just more about getting a player in at this moment in time, which I don't like. But he's back in the target. Now, the news that's being mentioned makes no sense. And it makes sense. It makes sense because you're shipping out players so you can bring somebody else in. But Junior doesn't play on the right. He plays on the left. He's a left winger, in my opinion. So I don't like numbers-wise in the squad. Yes, you need to get players. You need to get rid of players. But position-wise, it makes absolutely zero sense. It doesn't, because you can keep Cambiasso. He can play on the right if needed. And you can keep Junior. Or you can push Chiesa to the right, depending on the needs and whatsoever, switch it up a little bit. But the Junior thing is very worrying, in my opinion, because you have something going now with Cambiasso. And actually, he played him over Kostic, so I don't get the rumors as well. But if you go from Cambiasso to Kostic, it's a completely different approach to the game. If you go from Cambiasso to Junior, it's kind of the same approach. The idea remains the same, in my opinion. Only Cambiasso is less direct compared to Junior, who loves to take on players more. But technically, ability, movement, it's similar-ish. But with Kostic, it's something completely different. So that's an idea I absolutely do not like. But there are no offers for Kostic, and that's a thing. There are offers for Junior. If you're gonna let him go, you just need to hope it's a loan, because I still think he has a future at the club. The issue is he only has a deal until 25. So if you send him out on loan, you need to wrap him up with a new deal, and he needs to agree with that. And teams like Atalanta are being linked with Junior. If he goes to Atalanta, it's not going to be a dry loan. It's going to be a loan with an option and whatsoever. I'm pretty sure about that. If he goes to the other teams like Bologna and those teams being mentioned, I can see a loan happening. But if it's Atalanta, I think it's not just going to be a loan, and that's something I absolutely do not want. We should not lose control on Junior, especially with the idea that Alexandro's gone. You're trying to move on Kostic, like building that left hand side. It needs to be young. It needs to be fresh. And also, Allegri yesterday post game said like he's the future of the club. These are players we need to build around. And now you're trying to do this. And I know we play only once a week, but maybe it makes sense if you cannot ship out Kostic. It's better to give him consistent minutes, I guess. But the difference in play is big time. Now the Soule thing, you might say we don't need somebody on the right because you have Soule, and yes, but I don't think Allegri is a big fan of his. Feyenoord is the main target. We want 20 million. Feyenoord don't have 20 million, period. Like their coach said it openly in the presser yesterday. They don't have 20 million. They just don't have it. So it's going to be a loan, maybe with an option, but the option is never going to be 20 million. So let's see. Frosinone are still pushing to get Soule, and Caio Jorge. Sanitano still in the mix. Like, Romeo said there's still going to be 3 to 5 for 4 players leaving. Probably all going to be loan, unless it's going to be Junior to Atalanta, in my opinion. What about Nicolucci? I believe Nicolucci needs to leave on loan, whatever, because he had so many injuries. He needs to have that game time. Miretti, that's a big question mark, because is Pogba going to stay fit? Or do you really want to play McKennie in that position? Because he didn't start him. He started Miretti yesterday and not McKennie. So that means something. That's why I'm like, you're just loaning out players. I get why, because you cannot ship out the other guys and you want them to play. But you at the same time, I think you're going to make your team a bit worse. You know, it's not a win-win situation here. It's kind of a win-lose. Yes, they're going to play and gain experience, but you as a club gonna lose a little bit on the pitch. That's just how I see it. But all these things are happening. According to Di Marzio, the Lukaku thing is kind of off now because Chelsea don't want to do that deal, and we should not be doing that deal. Berardi, it's off, man. It's off. They're not gonna do it. We are not gonna pay that money unless we somehow come up with, I don't know, 50, 60 million. I don't know, and we can spend actually. It's just about getting the players out. I think the club, Allegri, Giuntoli, they all have been very, very clear lately. It's about getting players out of the door now, loaning players out, trimming that squad because we play once a week and let those youngsters play consistently. The weird part is maybe Junior, Yildiz and Huijsen, they are going to be in the first team. And like out of all the players mentioned, they're probably going to be the guys with the less minutes, you know, if you look at experience, knowing Allegri. So it's a bit strange, but still 9 days left of the transfer window, so let's see. I think a lot of things will be kind of wrapped up this week, you know, or like not officially, but Miretti, Nicolucci, Junior, Soule will probably know where all those players are going to leave. The last bit of news is Moise Kean, because he can leave if a big offer comes in, but the clubs interested are Sevilla and Fulham, and they're not willing to pay a big amount of money. So not sure what to make about that. Sorry, he wants to play. I don't think he's going to play a lot this season as a starter. So he might be pushing for a move. But if no club is offering that money, I don't see that happening, if I'm being completely honest. Like, it's being left very, very late for that type of deal. But you never know. You know, Mitrovic left Fulham, so they have money. I think they got like 40 plus million for Mitrovic. Who knows? But does he want to go to Fulham? Probably not. Like, they're probably gonna get relegated, you know, if you look at their squad, or gonna be in a relegation battle. So I'm not sure if he wants to do that after, you know, Juve, Everton, PSG, Juve, linked to Milan, then Fulham. I don't know, but these are the things we should be looking out for in the last couple of days. So let's see, man. Let's see. We will keep you up to date on this channel as always. Like, subscribe this video, and I will be back this evening. Ciao.